Remedy has announced their immediate future plans, and they won't involve Alan Wake 2 or another direct partnership with Microsoft, apparently. So that means probably no Quantum Break 2 either?
I highly doubt it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we didn't expect anyway.
So who owns Quantum Break? Microsoft or them?
That's a really good question.
question.
I'm not sure we know the answer to that.
So we could still get a Quantum Break 2, but it would be Microsoft would give it to a different
Because
dev.
it seems like Alan Wake is owned by Remedy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know about Quantum Break.
I don't either.
And so they said they now have 2 active teams working on games, which is super exciting. My prediction is that we were right about the Max Payne thing, and that they got the rights to Max Payne back, and they're making a Max Payne game, and that the other one's a new IP. That is a fantasy game.
Why do you think that Rockstar would let Remedy have Max
Because
Payne?
they're busy, and because Max Payne 3 wasn't as good as Max Payne 1 and 2.
And also, there seems to be no animosity of any sort.
No.
It was just Rockstar bought the IP, and when 3 was coming out, if you remember, like Rockstar kind of gave their public, or rather, Remedy gave their public blessing and endorsement of it.
Yeah, but I just don't see them selling Max Payne. Like,
Well,
you
they're
gotta be
licensing
crazy
it.
good.
Yeah, licensing.
Licensing.
They're just
That is
hiring
different. You're right.
Remedy.
Yeah, and I think Rockstar has more than enough
So it
going
would
for
still
it.
be a Rockstar game made by Remedy.
Think of
In
well,
theory.
and think about this. I mean, not that Remedy's been starved for budget. I mean, because seemingly Alan Wake 2 had plenty of budget, and certainly Quantum Break was in development for 4+ years, and they recast the entire thing halfway through development. But think of Remedy getting to design another Max Payne game with a virtually unlimited Rockstar budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
exciting.
an appealing thought.
The one thing that I feel like Remedy always do is have their protagonists narrate things, right? They always have...
Sometimes I like to tell my own story.
They're always just very, I needed to get over there. And you're like, yeah, like
And then
I
I
could have
did.
figured that out myself. Like I saw the ladder before you mentioned it. That really annoyed me in Alan Wake because I didn't like Alan. In Quantum Break it was okay because he's actually narrating it in reverse, kind of. And then in Max Payne, I love it because I love Max Payne. I'm like, yes, talk more, you broody. Like, I love him so much. It's like, I feel like doing that all over again.
It's like I'm trapped in some sort of video game.
They just always point out the obvious. They're like, I needed to get to the car. It's like 2 meters from you, and it has like an icon on it. Like, yeah, you need to get to the car.
By the way, she means like 6 feet, you guys.
I think this is the second episode in a row where we've
2
got
meters.
confused over what a
Metric
meter
system.
is. Yeah, we're not
6
great.
feet? I don't think it's 6 feet.
I think it's
Anyway,
You want to get a liter of cola after this?
Yeah,
So-
the community manager here, the communications director at Remedy, saying they will not be shifting away from their narrative focus that the studio's always had, saying, quote, "We're not abandoning story in the narrative. We want to focus on what we are great and known for." But he also didn't rule out changing things up, saying, even though the 2 new games are clearly Remedy games with a strong Remedy DNA, to some they might come as a positive surprise. We're also trying to break out of genres, Marty, and reach out to new audiences, especially with one of our new games.
weird that
Emphasis
Thomas
is
mentioned
mine.
you by name.
It's going to be a wizard game.
Which, by the way, breaking out of genres and reach out to new audiences, especially with one of our new games.
That means new
Reading
IP, right?
super deep into it completely lines up with your Max Payne theory.
You think that's
Meaning
Max Payne?
our other game is
Yeah.
is one you know super well in an established franchise in a genre we're really good at.
Yep.
I like you, Marty.
Thanks,
Wait.
man.
Which is what?
The reach out to new
Max Payne.
audiences one, I would think, is not Max Payne.
Right. Meaning
That's
he's saying
whatever
one-
they want to do.
Yes,
and the money grab
other
is Max
one,
Payne.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
the positive
I'm
surprise.
completely reading into this like a
Yeah.
like a
I mean, I
Like a-
read the same thing.
Like a Remedy narrator reading into his own life.
like
to
Alan
go to
Wake.
the podcast.
Kind of a
It was
super
down the
minor
hall.
thing. But they use the same actors often. Do you think they'll ask Sean Ashmore to work on one of their new games?
Do they use the same actors often?
I don't think
I
so.
didn't know that.
Well,
I mean, Max was the same person.
Same
He was
guy,
a character.
Quantum
Yeah.
Break went through a bunch of changes, but they kept the actor that they hired to play the original
He was
guy
a cab driver.
in the game as a cab driver, almost as a joke. But I mean, they kept the actor. Do you think they
think
keep
that's
Sean, or do you think
a
they'll
lot of
just
parallel.
go back to something
No, I think the cast
It'll
Quantum
depend
Break's
on-
super expensive. Probably like those dudes are real actors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like Littlefinger.
just a thought.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Now, also, so when I read this, I went, that's interesting because, we don't see a lot of studios really kind of change their direction this boldly very often. Double Fine is a great example of a studio that was making one huge game for 4 or 5 years, and they got to a point where that was apparently financially unsustainable with Psychonauts and Brutal Legend.
Yeah.
And Tim Schafer and the team completely restructured the studio into like 4
annual smaller games.
Yeah, 4 smaller
great.
games, and it has seemingly worked for them, and they've been doing great ever since. And so, yeah, because Remedy is the same thing. They're a studio that's worked on one AAA game for 5 years at a time, and now they're going to split into 2 teams, and they want to get games out quicker. Here's Remedy business director Johannes Paloheimo, quote, I hope I got that right.
That was really
Sounds
good.
right.
I hope
Yeah.
so. I'm pretty
I got it.
confident on the Johannes part, not
Yeah.
so confident on the Paloheimo thing.
Incredible.
Quote, we don't want to take 5 years to ship a game. It's been a long process trying to transition into a 2-team studio, but now we can make more games faster and diversify both financially and creatively. So they are looking to the future to, basically not be walking a tightrope and have the studio's success and viability hinging
Depend
on
on 5
every
years.
game they ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is great. Because the
Yeah.
world needs Remedy in it. We don't want Remedy to go away.
It's always kind of cringe it. We can make more games faster. Like, oh.
Well, they're going to have to hire, obviously. And in fact, in their post about this, they said, hey, come join us. And that linked to their jobs page. But to what you mentioned at the top, Alana, these will not... They're not partnering with Microsoft on these specifically. So these are, whatever these are, neither of them are going to be Xbox exclusives in the way that Alan Wake and Quantum Break have been. But don't
They'll
worry,
still come to
they're
Xbox.
almost certainly, unless the partner is Sony or Nintendo, the games will almost certainly be coming
I don't
to
see
Xbox.
them going to Nintendo. Max Payne 4 is exclusively on
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Also, I'm not too 5-year dev cycle is a lot, and
It's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a studio like Naughty Dog puts out a game every 2-3 years. Those games are always good. So
Yeah, that's true. I guess I just
Split teams,
always
yeah.
think about everything in the Assassin's Creed way. That I'm like,
yeah,
you had to stop because you were bringing them out so much, and Unity was buggy as hell. I'm like,
Well,
I never
and
want
the-
anyone to rush making a game.
Right.
Totally.
Well, and of course, the Assassin's Creed are literally made by 1,000 people at a time.
They also
They're
are
even taking
all
apart.
made by
Alternating groups
years.
of 1,000
Yeah,
people,
Same
yeah.
as Call of Duty, I guess.
But yeah, that's the only. Remedy is, to the best of my understanding, fairly small by AAA studio standards. I think there's something like 100 or 150 people. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can grow enough, but still, stay small and nimble and be able to support
Yeah.
2 self-proclaimed AAA games, but more Remedy games.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. Max Payne 4, Marty called it. With Rockstar.
but it's gonna be a reboot. That's my reboots are my new games made up of small vignettes.
You like
I
those.
want a reboot made up of small vignettes.
I don't even know what that means.
That's all they do. They
I'm
just
not
add
That could happen
vignettes.
in Max. No, it couldn't. It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen in Max Payne.